Hello guys, we're back with another story time. So, in today's story time, we're going to be talking about the time when I done LSD for the first time, and the only time, because this is the only time I've ever done it. And probably will do it, because, mate, it was I'm not going to say it was an okay experience, but it could have gone better. I just want to put a disclaimer that I do not prohibit the use of drugs. I don't recommend you take drugs. I don't recommend you do anything like that, to be completely real. This video is just to talk about like my experience, and that's about it. And just for a bit of fun, you know. So, like the video if you enjoy this story time, and let's get into it. So, this story took place about a few months ago. Like it was pretty recent actually. I believe it took place near the beginning of this year. I think it was around February or March. And on this day, it was a Sunday. That's what I specifically remember. It was a Sunday, and I had school the next day. So, as you can imagine, not a good environment to do this type of shit. But like I said, this wasn't planned. It was just like a spare the moment type thing. So, for a good few months at this point, I had a friend who I had met off the app Grindr. And I know what a lot of people are going to be thinking. Oh my God, is this like a friends of benefit? No. When we first started talking on the app, right from the beginning, we both knew that we were just going to have a friend bond, and that's how it still is to this day. July, August, September, October, November. Like, I've known him for about, like, 8 months now. 8 months, and, you know, we've kept that connection. He goes to the uni that I'm going to be starting in September. You know, like, I've actually met, like, quite a good friend from that app, but, yeah, we basically just became, like, stoner buddies, you know, stuff like that. But for a good few weeks at this point, when this story took place, he told me that he had a tab of LSD that he had for about a year at this point. So it was starting to age, but, you know, it was still likely to be really good, still have most of the effects. And we were planning on taking it for a good few weeks at this point, but we just never got around to it. And we were going to take it, you know, at a responsible time, you know, on a Friday night or a Saturday night. You know, I'd crash out at his place, so I wouldn't have to go home high on LSD, you know, because it's a 12-hour thing. But anyway, on this Sunday, I remember I got into a heated argument with, like, my mom and some people in my family. I can't really remember why, because this was a good few months ago, but, you know, I wasn't in a good state of mind. And I was planning on meeting this friend anyway. This friend who I've been talking about this whole time. I need to give him a name. Let's call him James, which isn't his real name, but let's call him James. So I went to James's place, and he was like, let's get high, let's, like, keep your mind off it. I was like, sure, let's go. So, you know, we smoked up a bit, was just watching some YouTube on the iPad, and I got the idea that we should take the LSD, but he is a lot more responsible than me when it comes to some situations like this. So I honestly didn't expect him to agree. So I was like, you know what, I'm in quite a bad mood, like, you know, I just want to, like, fuck everything, you know, like, so do you want to take the LSD that we've been trying to do for months, the acid, you know, whatever you want to call it? He was like, on a Sunday, and I was like, yeah, I know, but, like, it'll be my first time, you know, we'll have a fun experience, you know, it's only, like, I don't know, the 1 o'clock in the day, like, I'll go home at, like, 11, 12 a.m, you know, the trip should only be wearing off at that point, pretty much, you know, I'll be fine. So we take this tab of LSD, he splits it in half, we both put it on our tongue, it dissolves, there you go. And, right, so I'll say for about the first hour, I didn't really feel anything. Like, I still felt completely normal. But after an hour went by, the best thing, the best way to describe it was that everything felt like it had a lot more detail than it did before. Oh my God, I just nearly fucking burped, but fucking, you'd look at the wall, right, and it's like you could, like, make out every little detail on that wall. Like, you'll be looking at, like, the carpet on the floor, or, like, the mirror, and you'll be swearing that you could see just little bits of it moving around. It was crazy. It was, like, the first ever, like, somewhat visual experience I had with a drug. It was a bit mad. But because this LSD was about a year old at this point, it didn't actually last 12 hours. I'd say it lasted about 3 hours, I'd say. 2 to 3 hours, like the main effects. And then for the rest of the remaining time, you could feel the drug in your system, but it wasn't really doing anything. Like, it basically worn off, but you could still feel it in your stomach, you know. So I didn't really have a good experience overall, but this was because the LSD was, like, really old. You know, it just wasn't the best quality anymore. My pupils were massive, bro, even though I felt completely normal after a few hours. So yeah, I remember I just went home, like, at a normal time because I felt completely normal. My mum never got onto my pupils being fucking massive. I just smoked a bit in my room, and then I was like, yeah, that was a bit mad. So yeah, that's pretty much the first time and the only time I've ever taken LSD, acid, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this story time, and give me some more suggestions in the comments if you want on any story times that you want to see me do next.